On Monday here in the Florida Keys. Hey there, man. I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate, and this is the Florida Keys Real Estate Guy show here on Radio A1A. And if you're listening to us, you can also watch us. We are also broadcasting on 7 different Facebook pages, YouTube, just about anywhere you want to look for us. Periscope. You can go to the A1A Media homepage, and that's where you'll find us on video, and also in Cruising Country as well. So you can find us all over the place. If you haven't heard or watched our show before, again, as I mentioned, I'm Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate, and we've got a great show. We've been doing this, I think this is show 98, Harry?
Yes.
We've been doing this for a couple of years, and it's show 98. We used to be the Florida Keys Real Estate Guys with my buddy Mark Mills. He's taking a little hiatus from real estate, and he has an awesome show that comes up later this afternoon that is The View from Paradise, and that's done at the Bayside Grill just up the road in Key Largo. So definitely take a look and listen to that one as they talk a little bit more in depth about some Keys politics, a little bit more of what goes on behind the scenes, and a little bit different. This show is a little bit on the other side, where we talk a little bit not just about real estate, but lifestyle, because lifestyle is so critical here in the Florida Keys. That's why you come here. I've been doing this for about 25 years. I've been a real estate agent here in Florida, and I've also been here in the Florida Keys lifelong. I've enjoyed the Keys all my life, and I guess I kind of like to consider myself and live my life a little bit like Hemingway, which, you know, I've even got my own book here. I can't go anywhere without a little bit of Hemingway. You got a little bit of Zane Grey, a little bit of Most Interesting Man in the World, and, of course, some Tony Bourdain. So, you know, that's a great thing. You live in a paradise like this, it's impossible not to just kind of live your own beat, live your own lifestyle. And that's one of the things I love about working with folks here that want to turn their, let's call it their island dreams, into their new tropical reality. It's a little bit of what we do on a daily basis, and it's something that I really love, and I'd like to share with you some of the things that we'll be talking about. Today we're going to talk a little bit about travel. We're going to talk about with one of the artists who's here at the Rain Barrel. When I say here, that's where we're broadcasting from. If you've ever driven, excuse me, I'm a little tongue-tied today, you know, it's been a long weekend. If you've ever driven down our 127-mile dead-end street, which we call the Overseas Highway, starts in Key Largo, ends at the end of Key West. It's one way in, actually 2 ways out. You can take Card Sound. But you'll notice the second most photographed icon here in the Florida Keys, Harry, is Betsy, the gigantic, enormous, actually accurate, anatomically accurate replica of a Florida Keys lobster. Now, in the Florida Keys, we call them bugs.
You know, I watched you down between the little legs of, the big legs of Betsy up there, and you haven't.
Wait a minute. You have. Hey, Michelle, my wife, if you're listening, I swear we're just talking about the lobster. What he's talking about between the legs of Betsy.
Listen, when you're talking about it anatomically correct, my mind goes to, did you separate his little pinchers?
Hey, whatever you want to call them. You know,
pinchers.
This is the Florida Keys, and you know, Betsy exactly is an anatomically correct lobster. Florida lobster. Yeah, let's get this. There is no other lobster. Is there any other lobster than Florida Keys? I don't know what they call that thing up in Maine. It's who knows, whatever
crawfish.
It is. The crawfish, gigantic, enormous crawfish. Lobster. You want to talk lobster, you come to the Florida Keys and get our spiny lobster. To me, the meat is sweeter. No, you don't get the claws and all the meat there, but I think the meat is far sweeter. Yeah. It's more tender. Yeah. It is absolutely amazing. And as I mentioned, as we drive down, the second most photographed icon is this huge lobster that we have just steps away from where we're at here at the Rain Barrel. Rain Barrel is a collection of artists that are here. It's kind of funky, almost a little hippie 60s kind of enclave that you would have here. And you can get everything from your Florida Keys memorabilia to hand-blown glass that's in the back. They have some potters as well, and some incredible custom-made art from Amy Jo from Amy's Creations. This is just one of the things that we have, and we're going to do a little bit of a giveaway a little bit later in the show. It's actually original art signed by Amy, and she's done some incredible stuff. Unfortunately, I left it in my car, but she just did a phenomenal custom piece of work for me for my website, which is therealestateconk.com. And she just does some amazing work, and it's a way to take the Florida Keys back home with you. And another way to take the Florida Keys home back with you is by listening to Radio A1A. definitely go to our YouTube page or our website. You can download our app from any of the app download, Apple or Android or what have you. Put it on your phone. Take it with you wherever you are, and you can listen to it. And again, come here to the Rain Barrel, and especially where we're broadcasting now, which is the Bug Pub. What is the Bug Pub? The Bug Pub, I think, is the coolest place in the Florida Keys if you want to get your Keysy vibe on. It's a funky little bar. You have the outside where we're actually broadcasting from. We just had some great folks out here enjoying some beers and some custom coconut cocktails here, and they've got a cool inside that has a lot of cool nautical decor. They also are able to open up till 11 o'clock. We're going to talk to Gary, who is the manager of the Bug Pub, and tell us a little bit more about it because they've got some great live music. We're going to be doing a lot more events here, and of course we broadcast our show every Monday here from the Bug Pub. So, what's happening in the Florida Keys? Well, let me tell you, we just had the amazing, Carrie, I don't know if you got a chance to go. I was wrapped up. I wanted to, but every year I do go, which is the huge, huge nautical flea market.
It was awesome. It was.
Let me tell you, it was, what happened is we always ran it, and this is through the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
We always ran it the week after the Miami Boat Show. It's kind of like, okay, almost like a fun thing. You went to the boat show, let's do our little flea market type of thing, and that's how it started. Well, that's not what it is anymore. It is serious. It is hardcore. Anything you want boating, it is there. And in fact, now a lot of the vendors, Harry, from the boat show, they stay an extra week just so they can participate.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. You've got national vendors and folks now that stay here for the event, and it was here at Founders Park, and I think they broke records this time again with the amount of attendees and just the amount of booths that they had, just everything from fishing gear, boating gear, anything you need to get on the water, sometimes at great discount prices. So something to definitely put in your calendar. If you didn't go this year, make sure you do it next year. It's in February. It's always the week after, basically Valentine's weekend, which is when they usually have the Miami Boat Show. Yeah. It's the week right after the Miami Boat Show, so something that's really great. And let me tell you, the weather here today, Harry, they'd say Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, unbelievable. It's probably just shy of about 78, 80. There's a light breeze on here. There's some nice small clouds that are floating around. The water looked absolutely gorgeous as I was coming over the Channel 5 bridge, which, folks, we have 42 bridges that connect the Florida Keys, all the way from Jewfish Creek Bridge in the north, all the way to the last bridge in Key West. And each one of them has a unique story to tell. But my favorite bridge is the Channel 5 bridge.
Mine too.
Well, I think anybody who really drives, of course you've got the 7 Mile Bridge. That's awesome. Yeah. That's gorgeous. You got the Long Key Bridge, beautiful. The Bayhana Bridge. But to me, the best vista is from the Channel 5 Bridge. And the reason why, and that's just south of Islamorada, about mile marker 69, 70. And the reason why is it's a 65-foot bridge. It's one of the last. There's only 3 large bridges that we have here. Card Sound, you've got Niles Creek, Niles Channel down south, and then you have Channel 5. And it gets about 65 feet, so a nice hump. And when you're going northbound, the colors that you see in the flats are absolutely gorgeous. You see the different variations from waters that can go from 25 feet deep to about 6 inches in the matter of feet. And again, that's why it's so important when you're boating. Make sure you have a good GPS. Make sure you got polarized sunglasses and you know the waters, because let me tell you, you can run aground really, really quickly if you don't know what you're doing. But when you go over that bridge, it's a great indication of the special topography and underwater topography that we have here in the Florida Keys.
There's also a special experience on a full moon night driving back from Key West, and when you're headed northbound, and you top that coming from Long Key, and you come to the top, and the moon is just over you. The moon takes up about a quarter of the sky.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Well, one of the places I like to fish at night is also right, because you and I are both Layton people. Is right out of that channel. The first marker that's there. It's a wonderful little channel that gets all kinds of. I call it the freeway of fish, because they're coming from it's a natural channel. They're coming from the bay side, going back to ocean, or vice versa, depending on the tide. And we've caught everything from mutton snapper to shark to grouper to just about anything you want.
Big tarpon.
Oh, there's huge tarpon and huge sharks and huge grouper that go swimming through there. So it's a really neat place. It's about a mile off the bridge. But my point being is when we're there and it's a full moon, it is absolutely stunning. And that's just one of the stunning places that we have here in the Florida Keys. You've got 127 miles of beautiful area that is just absolutely lovely here in the Florida Keys. And I'm so happy to be able and privileged to share that with you. Hey, how you doing?
Come on.
Oh, wow, this is unexpected. Hey, come on over here. Folks, this gentleman has been riding here in the Florida Keys and actually all over the United States, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you just come back from Key West?
Running all over Key West. I made a big pine in back.
Here, let me give you a microphone. Talk to me a little bit on the air.
I made it to Big Pine.
Okay.
I didn't want to go to Key West. It was just they're getting down on homeless people there, and there's really nowhere to sleep, so I didn't want to go there and get bothered. So I made it to Big Pine.
So tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm raising money for American Cancer Society.
Okay. And how are you doing that?
I've been over 51,000 miles, and I have a website with American Cancer Society where people can go online and go to www.crowdrise.com.
Crowdrise?
Crowdrise.com.
Yeah.
And you've been bicycling all over the United States. I know when we were here a couple weeks ago, we got a chance to talk a little bit.
Over 51,000 miles in all 48 states almost twice.
Holy cow. Wow.
And I'm heading north to Maine right now.
You're heading to Maine.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's heading to Maine. And let me tell you, you want to support a good cause. Again, give everybody that website.
It's www.crowdrise.com.
Awesome.
Good deal.
Awesome.
I have 13 states left. Once I get to Maine and do the New England states, I'm going completely across the top of the United States.
Wow.
Back to California.
Well, I hope you raise some great funds.
Do it in the summertime.
Certain times.
I'm taking my sweet time to get up there.
That's great. Yeah, well, good to see you. Good to see you.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you for stopping by.
All right.
Again, you never know who you're going to run into here in the Florida Keys, and that's one of the beautiful things here. And we have everything from celebrities to your everyday Joe, and you never know who you're sitting next to at the bar, especially if you come here to the bar here at the Bug Pub. You know, we have some great celebrities. You've got Jimmy Johnson, who's always here, Gene Hackman, who's here. You never know who you're going to bump into, and that's the most beautiful thing. John Cameron, yeah, exactly. You got all kinds of folks that love being down here, and you understand. You get out on the water, you feel a day like today. You can understand why Hemingway, all the literary folks. You got Hemingway, you got Tennessee Williams, you've got Ted Williams, who was here, the baseball player, and he was also a writer. And then, of course, Zane Grey, the guy who kind of started it all. People forget that Zane Grey was even before Hemingway, noted outdoors author that came here. Our lifestyle is unlike any other, even though we've gotten a lot more developed in the Keys that I grew up with, and my family's had ties here since basically the late 40s, early 50s. It's changing, but, change is good, too, because we got a lot more cool stuff that's happening, and one of the cool things that happens is we have meeting of the minds that runs through here, right, Harry? And we've got a couple other things that are going on.
Well, there are a tremendous number of things going on with Radio A1A right now. Of course, one of the best things that we do is this show right here.
You know it.
What this gives the listener and now the viewer on our A1A Media Network channel is the ability to actually see the real Mykael Marinelli.
That's kind of dangerous.
No,
that's a loaded question.
Actually, a lot of realtors are bashful people, and they get a little nervous when they get around people sometime. And Mykael is the farthest thing from bashful. As a matter of fact, he says, Harry, let's do a show and tell them what to do when they come down. Yep. Okay? We didn't say come down and we're going to sell you something.
Right.
Because everybody's going to try to grab you and sell you something. What this is to get you, first of all, you really must be familiar with the Florida Keys lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And then you can get more familiar with it with getting to know someone. Mykael Marinelli is one of the first people you need to know. Then when you come for your visit that you really are starting to pinpoint and identify possibly your bucket list of where you want to spend the rest of your life possibly, that's when to get Mykael to take you by boat, by car, by helicopter, by whatever it is.
Whatever it works for you, that's what we do. And it's so true, Harry. It's a process to owning property here in the Florida Keys. And it starts with travel, which we're going to have Mr. David Hartman on a little bit later to talk a little bit about travel, because usually that's what happens is someone comes down here, they go, wow. Then they come again, and they start falling in love with it, and they're saying, you know what, we're coming so often and spending money at hotels or what have you. Wouldn't it be cool to own a place here, but we have no idea really where we want to be, and that's where they contact me. And it's a process. Learning, and one of the first things I ask people, and we're going to talk a little bit more about real estate at the end of the show, though, is why do you want to own a property here in the Florida Keys? What is it you're into? Are you a fisherman? Are you just a recreational boater? Are you a diver? Do you just want to look at the water when you wake up in the morning? All those are factors that are going to play into where and what type of home you're going to have here in the Florida Keys. So, like Harry said, it's not just about selling you something. To me, the real estate here sells itself.
It certainly
in
does.
its own way. It's just a matter of identifying the best property for you in terms of price, terms, all the other real estate stuff that goes on with it.
Real estate is not a science. It is a people business and a relationship business. And if you make a relationship by just driving by and calling the number on some random sign,
right,
that is probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make. You'll be bothered the rest of your life. So, I mean,
yeah.
I'm
oh no, I know. It's very dangerous. You get on some of the calling lists of some of these folks, they'll nag you to death.
Calling, mailing, email, spamming, Facebook, all of that kind of stuff. They're trained to start mining you.
I trained a lot of them.
Yes, you did. But in this case, I'm going to tell you something. Mykael Marinelli is going to give you his telephone number and his realestateconk.com. TheRealEstateConk.com.
Right. It's our website.
That's the website and his world famous blog. That's the number you need to write down or keep in your billfold, or especially on your phone.
Right.
So that when you come to the Keys, give him a call.
Give me a call.
He'll
Even
meet
if you're just visiting, let's say hello. Let me
Yeah.
tell you what the latest and greatest restaurants are, what's going on this week.
Right.
So I can kind of become, I love being an ambassador for the Keys.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing I love to do, is teach people about the Keys. One of my greatest joys is seeing when people come here, especially like a friend of mine and his wife came a couple years ago. And the first thing she did, they came from California, they looked around and she goes, "Where's the beach?"
Yeah.
There's no beach here.
Nope.
She did not want to be here at the Keys, and that was at 8 o'clock in the morning. By 5 o'clock in the morning, they absolutely, in the afternoon, they fell in love with the Keys. Yeah. Because it's a matter of showing them, listen, here, let me show you what the Keys are really all about. Let me get you on the water. Let me drive you over Channel 5 Bridge. Let me show you what you like. And by the end of the day, she wanted to take as much key lime pie with her home as she could, listen to the radio stations. How can I hear, what's going on? And that's what happens in the Keys. You fall in love with it, and that's one of the cool things.
Absolutely, Michael. And you see all these pictures of Miami Beach and film and beaches packed all over the world of beach goers and chairs and balls and blow up air mattresses.
There's a lot of those.
But in the Keys, that's not the Keys.
That's not the Keys, and that's what people. And another thing to realize too is there's Key West.
Yeah.
And then there's the Keys. Yeah. And a lot of people don't equate that there's a big, big difference. Yeah. And I love Key West, but it's a whole different thing than basically the rest of, I'd say, the 110 other miles that are a part of the Keys that have a whole different lifestyle, a whole different speed that we work at than Key West, which is a whole different animal. I don't even practice real estate in Key West because that's got its own vibe. And I refer people out to some great agents I know in Key West because you really need to know how that clock is ticking there.
Have you ever told someone you don't want to buy this house? This is not the house for you.
I put it a little bit more is that this is probably not the house that's going to fulfill your dreams. I never really like to downplay something, but yeah, I kind of try to guide them to not so much what house not to buy, but what house to buy. Because sometimes they might not realize, for example, I had someone that they wanted to fish. They were antsy, and they looked at this house that's on the bayside. Yeah. That if you want to get out and fish right away, Bayside usually isn't going to cut it unless you're close to one of the channels that go through, like one of the cuts. It's just going to take you a while. So you might want to be on the ocean side. And that I've done many times, saying, hey, guys, Bayside might not work for you, or Oceanside might not work for you, or this canal might not work for you.
How much house is, let's just put it this way, 1,000 square foot house on Bayside and 1,000 square foot home on the Atlantic side? Is the price difference?
That's a good question, Harry. It used to be. There used to be a big difference between Oceanside always carried a little bit more premium.
I thought so.
Yeah. For the longest time, and Bayside was the runner-up.
Yeah.
Now it's not only is it changing, sometimes the Bayside is actually doing better than the Oceanside.
Interesting.
The water's a little calmer. It just depends who's buying and what it's going for. We do have a lot calmer, a little bit softer sand that's in the area, not as much coral. The navigation's easier. Dockage is usually a little easier on the bay side. Ocean side is great, but we have really dramatic tides. Like you go down to Lower Matacumbe Key in a low tide, there's no way you're getting a boat up to your dock unless you've got a super, super long dock, and they're not giving those permits anymore. So these are the very factors that come into play when you're considering a property here in the Florida Keys. And like I said, it starts with travel, and it winds up with you enjoying the restaurants and enjoying the lifestyle, and eventually getting in touch with me, and I get you home.
If you're a partier, if you're young,
Yeah.
if you
Which I
are,
used to be. Both of those things. It's kind of hard to be anymore.
if you like Disneyland for adults, that's Key West.
That's the perfect thing. Disneyland for Key adult.
For
exactly.
adults.
I feel like I'm drinking in Key West. But yeah, Disneyland for adults. That's a perfect analogy of Key West, which is awesome.
But if you like that on the weekends,
It's a quick
and you like a nice, quiet community, Long Key.
Long Key. Let me tell you, I'm a big Long Key. To me, one of the sleeper neighborhoods in all the Florida Keys in terms of bang for your buck is Layton. Let me tell you that. Remember that word, Layton. If you want to get on the water, really great price, great fishing. You know, you're in between Marathon and Islamorada, so no matter what you want to do, you're deep enough in the Keys where you feel like you're in the islands. Yeah. Great little community.
They've got an Otis there. They've got an Andy.
Exactly.
I'm telling you.
I think there's a Gomer, too, if I remember.
That was me. I left.
Well, you know, I always joke that the Florida Keys basically are Mayberry by the water in its own way. The friendly spirit that we have here is awesome. It is small town vibe, and it's just super cool. So, you know, that's one of the things that we're going to be talking a lot about, not only in this show, but all the shows that we keep going on, because lifestyle is as important as the brick and mortar of a particular house.
For instance, small town lifestyle. If you come from small town mid-America, you put yourself in small town Florida Keys, you are going to have world-class fishing, world-class diving, snorkeling, world-class seafood, delicious restaurants, world-class weather, year-round.
It's the optimal place, exactly. Look at us. We're here in February, and it's beautiful.
In a small town, when you go to the town council meeting in Long Key, it's like 10 people. That's the whole, and they're all doing the same thing they're doing in small town mid-America.
That they are, just by the water and in shorts and flip-flops.
It's wonderful if you like your lifestyle, but you want to add those other things around it. How much of a sticker shock, though? Let's say this: you've got a $300,000 to $400,000 suburban house, middle America, and you sell that where you are. You come to the Keys with maybe $300,000 in your pocket to buy a home.
Sure.
What do you suggest?
Well, that's one of the things that's important is where we say where you're going to be. Yeah. If you're just looking at pocketbook. Basically, our entry price here into the Florida Keys for a single-family home is now in the upper threes. And there is a sticker shock. But it's the same sticker shock you're going to find if you're coming from Middle America to go to Miami or go to wherever. It's paradise ain't cheap.
Yes.
It is what it is. But in terms of value, compared to, let's say, some of the other places, the Outer Banks, Hawaii, California, some of the other places that you'll have this type of lifestyle, I think it's a bargain. You get.
One of the most expensive things here is the windstorm insurance that you have to have if you have a mortgage.
That and flood insurance, depending on where you're located.
But if you can put $300,000 down, get your parents or someone to gift. How much are you allowed to gift? 10%?
Yeah, and also, I mean, you can take advantage of FHA loans, which have a higher, as you well know, Harry, there's a higher threshold for FHA loans. And let me tell you, folks, if you've been in the services and you haven't taken advantage of your VA loan, I don't know what is wrong with you.
Yes.
You're talking about 100% financing. Done more in the last 3 years. I've done more VA loan properties than I probably did in the previous 22 years of doing this business.
Well, our sponsor, Jim LaPointe.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to get to our sponsors in just a moment.
He's basically 3% across the board, and 15-year is under 3% right now. So if you were to bring your $300,000, you pay that down and you finance $80,000. Let's just say. That's all you got to get windstorm on, by the way.
Exactly, and depending on where you are and your house, if you have certain things like impact windows, you have a metal or concrete roof, you have CBS construction, you're going to have some significant discounts.
Mitigation.
And one thing to realize too, if you're owning a property here in the Florida Keys, our property taxes are extremely low. So these are things to factor in too. Because of our great tourist base, we offset our property taxes. They're about 1.1%, which when I'm practicing in Miami, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, you're looking at almost 2.25%.
And regular homeowners insurance, hazard insurance, is the same as it is just about everywhere.
Exactly.
For a 1,500 square foot home, it's going to be basically whatever it is to replace that.
Right, replacement value.
Replacement value. But there's one more insurance you need to know about, and that's flood insurance.
Yeah, flood insurance is important, but it's not as as caustic as people might think.
Because not required if you don't have a mortgage.
Not required, but a lot of people right now are taking mortgage, which is actually a smart thing because that keeps your liquidity. But you might, in almost all properties here, will have flood insurance because there's very little that is flood zone X, which means that's above the floodplain. Yeah. That doesn't mean our seas are rising and that we're going underwater like some people are constantly, babbling about. Who knows, 10, 100 years, maybe so, who knows, but right now that's not a concern. There are some areas that get some high tides and what have you, but depending on where you're located, depending what threshold of flood insurance you're going to have. And basically, unless you're in some very low-lying areas or your home is below flood, you're not going to get hit that hard as much as people get scared about flood insurance. If you're on the open water, it's going to be expensive.
Oh, yeah.
It's called what they call VE, flood zone, and I like to joke that stands for very expensive, in terms of insurance. But most of the time, if you're on what they call AE, which is a type of flood designation, it's really not that bad.
You add all that together, it's going to be maybe a little bit more expensive than your Mid-America home.
Sure,
but the amenities.
You're here in the Florida Keys.
Your power bill is low.
Your power bill is low. Everything is low. Your threshold of stress is low. I mean, what you'll save in medical bills just because of the peace of mind and stress and being able to come to a place like the Bug Pug and the Rain Barrel and living here in Islamorada, that's the way to do. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but first off, I did want to thank our sponsors. Once again, we're here at the Bug Pub at the Rain Barrel. I can't think of any place I want to be on a Monday afternoon. This place is freaking awesome. Also, Mr. Marshall Walker of H&R Block. He has that office above the Publix in the Tradewinds Plaza in Key Largo. Listen, folks, it's that time of year. Tax season is nigh. As my friend Mark Mills likes to say, this is the time of year where you got to get going, and Marshall will be able to handle everything you need to put that together and get you the best possible refund that you're going to be able to find. So someone definitely you want to work with. Also, as we mentioned, Mr. Jim LaPointe from Innovative Mortgage Services. He's the guy to talk to if you want to know what the current mortgage rates are. In fact, he's doing a great thing with Harry with putting the rates on our website. So you can see, and I think it's updated every 3 or 4 days.
Yes, it is.
So you can gather what's going on. He's got a multitude of mortgage loan packages, everything from VA, FHA, conventional, jumbo. Talk to Jim. He'll be able to guide you in the right way, so that way you can get pre-qualified, know what level of house you can buy, so that when we're working together, I can put you in exactly the house that's going to fit what you're looking for. Also want to thank Ginny Pinnell of Sunshine Title. She always does a great job. We just did a closing with her, and man, she takes great care of clientele. I don't have to worry about anything with her. I know all the T's are dotted and the I's are whatever it is.
Well, they do complicated work.
Oh, yeah.
And if it's not done right, and if it's not done according to the law of closing
title's insurance down here. I mean, title's important because remember, for a long time, the Florida Keys were a little bit Wild West.
Yes, they were.
How well was that property recorded for title? What kind of abstract is it? You want to make sure when you're buying it, no one's going to come out of the woodwork and go, that property's actually mine. And they do a great job of making sure you're protected on that, and also making sure all the costs and everything are done.
You have a good team, Mykael Marinelli, a title company that is a star in the business, and also the best mortgage guy.
Well, it all goes back to service, Harry, and that's always been my motto is service. Plain and simple, and it's really as simple as that. Right. I like to work hard for my folks because I know it's a very personal purchase for them, and they want to make sure that it goes as smoothly as possible. This is not something you want to hiccup with. You want as less stress as possible, and I like to treat every client as if it was my dad,
really?
or my folks, because they sometimes need a lot of hand-holding in some of these transactions that they might not be as familiar with. Now, luckily, very few people, I would say, the Florida Keys home purchase is going to be their very first real estate purchase. Many times it's their second, third, or maybe even fourth or fifth real estate purchase, so it's not new to the rodeo, but it still helps to have a rodeo clown like me who can steer the bulls away. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and we will be back with Amy of Amy's Creations here in
Amy's here.
The Rain Barrel. We're going to talk a little bit about some great custom art.
All right, here's Jim LaPointe.
Here we go.
You've been coming to the Keys for a while, and you rent a nice place, but the rents keep going up. You know it's time to consider buying a home in the Keys. First thing, find out how much home you can afford. Time to talk to Jim. Jim LaPointe is your new Keys local lender. Easy qualifying, lowest rates, FHA, VA, conventional. Time to talk to Jim. Log on to radioa18.com. Click on interest rates. Rates change often, so check them daily. Time to talk to Jim.
Monroe County Bail Bonds is a local family-owned and operated bail bonding agency in the Florida Keys, fully licensed and serving residents and visitors for over 20 years.
3-day getaway down in the Florida Keys. This time Duval Street got the best of me. I argued with the cop, he said I was speeding, then I really ran out of luck. When my girlfriend leaned over and whispered real loud, he's stubborn when he's drunk. I came here on vacation, I'm going home on probation.
That's right, there's always an agent on call 24/7 at Monroe County Bail Bonds. Call us when you need us with 2 locations, Tavernier at 305-852-3268 or Key West at 305-296-7724 or go to FloridaKeysBail.com.
Going home on probation.
Surprise! Great for a birthday, anniversary party, but a real estate transaction? That is not what you want. You don't want surprises when it comes to closing a real estate deal. The way to a smooth closing with no surprises is Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys. Call Ginny or Pam or even Irene. Hey, these 3 gals will take care of you, close your transaction smoothly with no surprises. Real estate closings, 1031 exchange, escrow, all your needs are taken care of there with
Hello,
no
Radio
surprises.
A1A listeners.
It's
This is
Sunshine
Mykael
Title
Marinelli
of
of American Caribbean.
Call 305-451-0032 or just Google up Sunshine Title of the Florida Keys.
Hello, Radio A1A listeners. This is Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate. Let me ask you, are you tired of the same old real estate agents doing the same old stuff the same old way? I provide a level of service that most agents can't, don't, or won't. Contact me to find your piece of paradise here in the Florida Keys or to assist you in finding a great agent nationwide. As part of the Christie's International Real Estate Network, I've got a team of agents that can take care of you no matter where you are. So no matter what your real estate needs are, with 22 years of service, contact me, Mykael Marinelli, the real estate conch of American Caribbean Real Estate, at 305-439-7730, or visit me at my award-winning Florida Keys Real Estate and Lifestyle blog at therealestateconch.com. I look forward to working with you soon.
Keys folks, it's that time of year again. You are running every which way you can, and it seems like you just cannot keep up. That's right, it's season. Not that season. Tax season. Hi, this is Mark Mills. For the last 10 years, Marshall Walker and his team at H&R Block in Key Largo, you know, the one over by the Publix, well, they have done my taxes through thick and thin. H&R Block has been there for me, and they have won my taxes. Let H&R Block in Key Largo, next to the Publix, get your taxes won. The end of tax season is nigh. Call now. 305.
No, come on out. Come on out. Come on out. Come on out.
This is Radio A1A, music for the road to paradise.
Let me tell you, folks, if you're not here, you're missing the boat, literally and figuratively. Hey, it's Mykael Marinelli from American Caribbean Real Estate, and we're back here at the Florida Keys Real Estate Guy, broadcasting live from the Bug Pub here at the Rain Barrel, home of Betsy, the huge, gigantic lobster. And the Rain Barrel is just an awesome, awesome collection of little shops and artists that has been here pretty much since I was a teenager. We've been shopping here, and I'm really privileged. You know, last week we had a segment on, and I had Amy here from Amy's Creations. She's one of the artists here at the Rain Barrel, and everyone looked and said, wow, that sign that you did for me was absolutely amazing. Just some custom artwork that Amy does. So if you want to take a bit of the Florida Keys back home with you and you want it personalized, come see Amy. She does some amazing artwork. In fact, this is one of the things. Harry, tell me when you got a good shot of this. Down, up, sideways.
Perfect.
Okay, this is something that she does for me. And if you're watching us here on one of our Facebook pages, Harry, keep an eye on this. Whoever gives a comment to us first saying, hey, I love Amy's artwork, we're going to send this to you with some custom verbiage that you'd like here on the sign. And we're going to send that to you. So, Harry, keep an eye on who gets back to us first.
I'll do that.
Folks, welcome Amy from Amy's Creation. Amy, thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you very much for having me back.
I got so many great compliments on the stuff that you do. And, I've always been a fan. As I've come here, you did stuff for some of my clients as well. And you just do a great job of giving folks stuff to take back with them. You do buoys that are custom painted. Tell me some of the stuff that you do.
Oh, goodness. I do everything from, obviously, the signs. I have ornaments. I have license plates. I even do tile work. Matter of fact, one of the restorations that I'm doing right now is for the Bug Pub. It's a whole new surfboard.
Wow. Well, you did the sign up in the front.
Yes, I did. And there's also going to be a little lawn jockey guy that's, made out of concrete.
All right.
Being painted up with it.
And I hear you're going to be doing a mural someplace, possibly?
Yes, right here.
All right, back here, we're going to have a brand new mural that you're going to do first. And you've done some other murals around town, too, right?
I have. Up in Key Largo, I have Tower Pizza, mile marker 100.
Sure.
Right next door, I actually did do a little bit of something for Keys Critters, which was the Santa sleigh.
Oh, right. They do the big Christmas thing for the holidays with all the pets and what have you. So you did the
pets and pina coladas.
Pets and pina coladas.
That's the one.
What better? So that's one of the cool things that you do as well. And you just showed me something else that you did that was pretty neat to take home with you.
Eyeglass cases.
Is that cool or what?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I bet you could do a guitar.
I could.
Okay, Harry. She's going to have to do the Radio A1A guitar.
We are going to have you commission one, and we'll raise some funds with that. How's that for a charity? Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
That would be great.
That would be an awesome thing. I mean, I just love the stuff that you do to be able to take, and you can kind of do anything that someone has in mind. You mentioned, I forget what your slogan was about. You'll paint anything, any surface. Tell me what your slogan is on that again.
Oh, yes. My motto is, if there's a surface out there, I will paint it. If there's not one, I'll make one.
Cool. And a lot of your stuff that you do is reclaimed wood. Like I think you said this was a pallet originally, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the sign you did, I think, was a piece of furniture. So you kind of take stuff and have a whole new vision for it.
Absolutely. If I can't restore a piece of furniture, then I will definitely make something else out of it. Why just throw it out into the dump?
Right.
It needs a whole new life and make good memories out of it at the same time.
That's great. So where here are you in the Rain Barrel?
I'm right in the center square. As soon as you walk out of the main shop here and you're in the center, I'm right there on the left-hand side.
Awesome. And you're open every day but?
Tuesday.
Yes. So if you're going to come down here, make sure you come any day other than Tuesday. You want to take a great piece of the Florida Keys back, original art that's custom done to what you want. Amy will take care of it for you.
Amy also, as you walk through the Rain Barrel itself, you're going to see some of the most original Keys independent artists as they create, and they're in there working on the creations and twisting the metal and carving the wood.
Right.
And you're back there doing the paintings all afternoon long with that beautiful smile. You've got to meet Amy.
Yes, you do.
Back here, and there's no telling what she can do art-wise on something of your personal thing that you want. But first of all, let me tell you, this is not the sandal shop, and this is not a place where you're going to see, stuff from Indonesia or China.
Mass market, mass-produced stuff. Everything is an original creation. That's why when she was doing this, she said, well, find out which one you like. Each conch had its own personality when you painted this, which was kind of cool. I looked at all the ones she had.
Is it anatomically correct?
Yeah, I would say. Listen, Harry, I got so many conch when I was a kid before you couldn't take them any longer. This is definitely anatomically correct.
Anatomically.
Big word for Monday. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Harry, let's take a quick break, and we're going to bring David on and talk a little bit about travel.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you so much for joining us once again.
I definitely appreciate being here.
You got it.
All right, Michael.
Folks, stay tuned, and we'll be right back with some travel here on the Florida Keys Real Estate Guy on Radio A1A.
Yes, we will. Just a moment.
If I had my way, I'd set sail right away. Destination, southern shores. throw my cares upon a shelf, head on off for somewheres else where the weather's always warm.
Hello, Radio A1A listeners. This is Mykael Marinelli of American Caribbean Real Estate. Let me ask you, are you tired of the same old real estate agents doing the same old stuff the same old way? I provide a level of service that most agents can't, don't, or won't. Contact me to find your piece of paradise here in the Florida Keys, or to assist you in finding a great agent nationwide. As part of the Christie's International Real Estate Network, I've got a team of agents that can take care of you no matter where you are. So no matter what your real estate needs are, with 22 years of service, contact me, Mykael Marinelli, the real estate conch of American Caribbean Real Estate, at 305-439-7730, or visit me at my award-winning Florida Keys Real Estate and Lifestyle blog at therealestateconch.com. I look forward to working with you soon.
You know, they may be called smartphones, but they are handled by regular folks like you and me. And we break things. Well, no more freaking out about breaking your smartphone, because Keys Smartphone Repair is here. Just click or call keysmartphonerepair.com. That's keysmartphonerepair.com. keysmartphonerepair.com. It's fast, professional smartphone and tablet repair located in Tavernier, mile marker 90. keysmartphonerepair.com. Click it now and save.
Hey there, it's Mykael Marinelli from American Caribbean Real Estate, and this is the Florida Keys Real Estate Guy, and I have a very special guest here. This is George, and George is going to be at the Key Largo Library. It should be the Islamorada Library on Friday at 10 o'clock. And what's he going to be doing there? Story time. So, George with Charlotte. So, again, a very, very special guest. George, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, he is beautiful. Wow, what a beautiful macaw. And another guest that we have here in this segue is Mr. David Hartman. Thank you for joining us and talking a little bit about travel. How you doing today?
Good afternoon from paradise.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what's going on travel-wise that's happening here. And I understand people are going to be able to find a lot more about travel coming real soon, because you're going to be joining us here on Radio A1A as another show.
Exactly. I'm starting a show in early March called Enjoy the Journey.
How cool is that?
It's a show dedicated to travel and talk about travel, and travel to the Keys, but also travel worldwide.
Right.
So looking forward to it.
Well, you know, Harry and I were talking earlier about how, especially with me when I talk to my clientele, a lot of it starts with you. You know, they're either coming here to the Florida Keys for the first time or multiple times, but one of the things you're able to do is put together a custom vacation package.
Yes.
And that really whets their appetite to want to be here more permanently. But tell me about some of the packages that you're able to put together for folks.
Sure. So I own Fantastic Endeavors, which is a full-service travel agency here in Key Largo, Florida, just north of here. So what does full service mean? It means that I handle everything from soup to nuts for a vacationer.
Right.
That could be a flight, hotels, could be transfers and taxis and shuttles. It depends on if they rent a car, could be rental car.
Right.
And all the tours in between. I do that not just in the Keys, but also worldwide.
Wow. Okay. So you can do whatever they're looking for, one-stop shop.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Turnkey.
Turnkey is what you like.
Turnkey vacation.
And basically, you handle it all, and you can handle everything from boating excursions, deep sea
Sure.
fishing, and what have you.
Exactly. I've been here 16 years. I was a scuba dive instructor here.
Oh, wow.
It's what
Okay,
brought me
cool.
here for 15 years, and now I don't have time to teach anymore. But I still love diving here. It's a beautiful environment to do that. So I know the area very well.
Right.
And especially know the lodging environment very well, which I said on last show is very complex.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a simple destination with Route 1 out here, which is very backed up today. It's our busy season down here.
We're in season. And when we're in season, let me ask you a difference. In season versus off season, is there still a big price differential in terms of hotels and other costs that are involved?
Absolutely. Supply and demand, my friend.
And when we're talking about season for you, what time frames are we talking about?
So right now we're in our busy season. This is high season.
Right.
and it's right up there with our holiday week, between Christmas and New Year's. So at this time of year, you're going to get hard to find hotel rooms, very expensive hotel rooms. A resort like, say, Chica View down the road goes for $450 a night.
Okay, so that's a premium resort that we would have here.
It's premium high-end resort.
What would be your entry? You're coming down to the Keys. You're trying to be budget conscious. What are you looking at in terms of a regular nightly cost?
That's a great question. This time of year, it's difficult. I mean, you're not going to find a quality place below $100 a night.
Okay.
I mean, you'd be lucky to find a quality place.
That's going to say you're lucky to find something in that regard.
Yeah, but quality is relative. You take a place like Pop's Motel.
Which I love. Let me tell you, we almost became partners with. My dad kicked himself. He
With
almost
her?
was able to buy in. Yes, this is
Linda?
back in the 70s.
Yeah.
They had thought about maybe going into a partnership or something. Unfortunately, never happened. But you talk about an awesome little old school Florida Keys
with
place.
the sunset and the barbecue grill and the tiki hut and the old concrete pier. You can snorkel. You can pull your boat up there, and it's $100 a night.
Yeah.
But that's off season now.
Now, one of the things that I like personally, I mean, although I love Chica, I love La Playa, some of these really beautiful resorts, I'm an old school guy. I love the old style hotels.
Motels.
In fact, my email is dropanchor@therealestateconk. And
That's a motel.
There's a reason why, is because before we lived down here in the Keys, we used to stay ever since I was a little kid at the Drop Anchor Resort, which is just down the street from us, about maybe 2 miles on the ocean side. And it's a little, I think they have maybe 12 rooms. It's a beautiful little resort. It's a mom and top type of facility. Same as a lot of folks here, like Pop's Motel.
Oh, yeah.
Another great one that I like is Lime Tree Bay. That's there in Layton.
Long Key.
Is with Long Key. Beautiful spot like that. So you have everything from the small independent hotels to the large resorts, and you can do just about anything and put in that kind of package together.
Exactly, and you named some really good value ones. At Drop Anchor, a good story is that just 2 years ago, I had friends from Michigan staying there. And they came to the flea market, which you just talked about.
Right.
And I met them here and actually drove them back to their hotel. I got to hang out there all afternoon. And I was so impressed, the management there, how ship-shape that place was.
Yes, it is.
After Irma, between September, nothing happened for the first few months in fall. By late February, that place was immaculate and gorgeous. So I highly recommend there because you can walk into a resort. I can walk into a resort as an expert and tell
you know the deal.
If the problems are one-offs or if there's a systemic management problem.
Right.
And we have some places here that are just phenomenally managed.
Right.
And that's what you don't know when you look online.
No,
see,
you can't tell that.
There's a good price here. This place looks great. It's a great deal. Well, if it's really, even if the ratings are coming out good on TripAdvisor, and I don't recommend TripAdvisor too much because there's a lot of fluff on there.
Sure.
There's probably a systemic problem going on with how it's managed if the prices are lower than what expectations.
Sure. It's the same thing in real estate. If you find something that's really, really awesome price, there's going to be a caveat to that. Either the location is terrible, it backs up to the busy road, the condition is so. It's not you get what you pay for, but you kind of get what you pay for a little bit.
Sure.
But sometimes there are hidden gems that you do get a lot of value for your dollar.
Exactly.
You know something, guys? I've been noticing, and you probably have too, that people are returning after Hurricane Irma for a year or two afterwards, and they're going, wow, everything is so brand new and fresh and new. We don't notice it. But within 6 months after Irma, there were 300 rooms not available in Islamorada alone. That is the bread and butter, the industry of Islamorada, is to bring you here, have you in a 5-star restaurant, or get you in a resort that you're having fun like Drop Anchor, and get you out on the water where you're spending your time enjoying the Florida Keys. Most of these hotels have all got a brand new face on them.
Yeah, sure.
Don't they?
And even look at which is the one right down the street from Drop Anchor now. They call it used to be Harbor Lights, Reef, what is it? I forget what the name is, but they did a complete, I mean, literally, they brought it down to the shell, and they've done a wonderful
Holiday
renovation.
Postcard
Postcard Inn now, Holiday, what used to be the Holiday Isle. So even the Islander, which unfortunately was closed for a long time.
It's a motel.
And it's opened up.
It is gorgeous.
We're so happy to be back online. And like you said, Harry, Harry. I think a lot of people thought we might have been more damaged than we were, and that's something people sometimes when they see the Florida Keys, they group us all in together. Folks, remember, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we're about 127 miles.
Yeah.
So although we took some brunt here in the upper Keys, which is Key Largo and Islamorada, it was really the lower Keys that got the worst of it, which is about another, from here, another 65 miles.
65 miles, but it's been 3 years, and you know, we don't notice it living here, but this place has really, it's looking good.
Yep.
Some of the questionable housing is now in the ocean.
Right. Yeah, some of the stuff and even some of the developments
are now in the ocean.
That had, kind of run their course. There were some areas that were kind of not as up to snuff as they could be. There was used to be a mobile home park, which is nothing wrong with mobile homes. I sell a lot of them, but this one had kind of gotten a little bit derelict. And unfortunately, that did not stand up well to the hurricane that came through. And
but the one across from Founders Park has been cleared.
Right, that's what I'm speaking of. Yeah.
Have you seen that property? How many acres?
Oh,
20.
It's a phenomenal
on the Atlantic
oceanfront property. There's still debate.
Dave, do you know anything about that property there across from Founders Park?
Yeah, what they're going to do with it?
Yeah.
I know the running joke is he has that City Watch car parked out front 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
He actually hired people because there was still units there people were trying to get back into.
Yes.
And ransack or what's the word?
Yeah.
Steal from.
Loot it from it.
Loot. And now the cars just parked there empty and they move it around once in a while.
Right.
But so obviously whoever owns the property is still guarding it.
Yep.
There is one trailer left in the property. I believe it's just an office.
Yeah, it's an office. The talk is that they're going to be doing another resort there, but more of a mobile, let's say modular home type of long-term type thing. It's still up in the air.
It's one of the most beautiful views of the Atlantic.
I think so. We'll see if that happens because that property is just ultra valuable. I just don't see.
It may be $1 billion.
Yeah,
that may be our first $1 billion property.
It could be because it is in the heart of Islamorada on the open water. I mean, you have properties that are right down the street. That we sold one for $13 million here. That was a fraction of that size. So we'll see what happens to it. And there's a couple other great large parcels that we'll see what happens to them as we're starting to get a moratorium on building coming up, but that'll be featured in another show that'll be coming up.
As a matter of fact, this evening on Mark Mills and the View from Paradise, we are going to cover not affordable housing, but workforce.
Well, that's when we talk real estate here, that's one of the most important things. And coming back from the next break, we're going to do real quickly. We're going to talk a little bit about that in some more real estate stuff. But while I've still got David here, David, any particular deals that you think are really high or someone should call you about right now for an awesome vacation here in the Florida Keys?
I mean, it's time to look at the springtime.
Right.
So again, that same hotel we mentioned previously is going to be more like $200 a night.
Okay.
Come summertime.
That's what I was going to say. When is that time frame change? Is it after Memorial Day? Is it before? How does that range work?
Excellent question. So right now, to me, I always like to focus on May, late April, May. It also, you got to look when Easter is because Easter could be anywhere from late March to late April. Sure, it changes. Mm-hmm. This year, Easter is April 12th.
Okay.
Mid-April. So usually by late March, a lot of our snowbirds leave, which frees up a lot of the housing.
Right.
So which puts less pressure on the hotels.
Okay.
Because people can do long-term stays now.
Sure.
So late April to May is a fantastic time to visit. And it's before the June phase where our South Floridian real estate owners come down for the summer.
Right.
Or come down frequently in the summertime.
Right.
So great deals in restaurants, great deals on hotels, less cars on land. Route 1 always feels busy, but it's a lot easier to get around.
For sure.
So I would like May, and then September is nice. Yes, it's a hurricane season threat, but as we know, Irma was a bad thing, but it also was our first hit in like 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was a one-off.
It was the Godfather that used to say with the wars, sometimes you need a little thing to come through. It kind of cleans out the system. Not that we like to see anything happen here, but sometimes that gives an awareness that we needed here. It helps us be a little bit more cognizant of some of the infrastructure we need to clear out. But anyway, before we wrap up here, again, tell us a little bit more about that show that you have coming up and when.
So Enjoy the Journey is going to launch, I believe, after your show.
Right.
On March 9th.
Awesome.
Still working on guests, working on sponsors. I have some cruise lines very interested. Some of the actual local hoteliers very interested in the show. And actually, we have one commitment. I can't announce it yet, but I will have that rep on the show early on. I believe she's going to come on March 23rd.
Okay.
Rep for this cruise line. I talked to her this week. And again, we're going to talk about, it's a general show on travel, but it's going to focus on the environment, the lifestyle here in the Florida Keys,
Right.
but from a travel perspective. Where your focus is getting people to find a lifestyle here.
Right.
I'm focused on getting people to understand how to vacation down
Sweet.
here, and also people from here how to vacation worldwide. In general, educate people how to travel. Last time, I had a lot of comments on our last discussion. Last week was travel insurance,
Right.
And a lot of comments
Right.
that you did great.
Yeah.
That was so educational because people don't realize so even things like that we're going to focus on, and I will have guests as you do on your show,
Right.
both local vendors but also vendors from the industry, suppliers, to talk
great
about
information.
educational things to people.
That's
Off the
awesome.
top of your head, real quick, I want to go to Miami Beach and see the Art Deco, buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I want to spend some time laying out on Miami Beach. I want a really fine resort and do the Miami Beach scene. Have you got one of those trips off the top of your head?
Oh, sure. I mean, Miami Beach, there's so many resorts to choose from.
Wow.
So,
I want to go do that.
Yeah.
And just
Why?
I've never done it.
I used to live on the beach for a long time.
I've never done
I'll
it.
take the Keys over the Miami Beach any day.
I want to
But
be
yeah,
like
no, but
Jackie
it's-
Gleason.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now that the boat show is over, because Miami Boat Show was just last weekend.
Yeah.
Now that that's over, it's a little easier to get a hotel now. One resort I can recommend, because I was just, I do a lot of pre and post both here for cruises, because the Port of Miami and Port of Fort Lauderdale, Port Everglades are two of the busiest cruise ports in the world,
Right.
not just North America, in the world. Especially Miami is the biggest in the world. They have literally this time of year sometimes 6 to 8 ships in port.
Wow.
We're talking 15,000 to 20,000 passengers
Holy
boarding
cow.
and disembarking in one day.
That's amazing.
20,000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, each
so
one is-
and a lot of people do pre and post. With pre and post, that's obviously arrive day before the cruise. You don't want
Right.
to miss the ship, and then you also want to relax after the cruise. I have a client right now. He's on a cruise. He did pre-Miami Beach, and I booked him in the Confidant, which is a
Okay.
very affordable hotel
Yeah.
on A1A, just one street back.
Okay.
If you just go on A1A behind Loomis Park area, which is the true 5th to 15th Street of
Right.
South Beach, you can get some fantastic deals. You're not beachfront, but you're a block away.
Yeah,
and
and-
you can
and
save
that's-
$400 a night.
But those old hotels on A1A are like from a cigarette commercial. They've got the with the cigarette girls, and the old they've got the hat racks over in the corner. This is 1950s type hotels, right?
Yeah,
they
exactly.
are fabulous.
Yeah, the Art
Boutique.
Deco architecture is amazing.
That's
I
what I'd
used to
like
work
see.
in this building that we had an office in, and it was from 1910.
Oh,
when
come
old
on.
Coral Rock supposed even predated the Art Deco stuff. But I mean, you got the Delano, you've got some of these amazing places like the Fontainebleau, and which are some of the larger,
Sure.
well-known ones.
Yeah.
But like you say, there's some hidden gems, just like in the Keys. I'm sure that you
Exactly.
can find.
And the good story in the Fontainebleau is you also, my first question to client is, since I do custom travel, is, well, what's your demographic? Who do you want to be with? I have a corporate client that just did a retreat there.
Right.
And she's like, give me a recommendation for next year because we're in our 50s, 60s, and that place was way too young.
Yeah.
So Fontainebleau, now if you're a little older and maybe save some money, the Sagamore has fantastic
Okay,
deals.
sure.
And they're not too far from the Lincoln Road shopping district.
Right.
Which is this enclosed part of Lincoln Road that is no cars are allowed and it's fun to shop up
My
there.
first date with my wife, Lincoln Road.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Parking down in the dead
5
end.
years ago.
I love
Almost 6 years
Lincoln
ago.
Road.
Hey
I've been
guys,
up there.
I hate to say this, but this show the time has flown.
I know, boy. This one is it's amazing.
You've got a
We've gone
listing
through it
you
now.
want to go over, don't
Yeah,
you?
no, I just wanted to let people know, when you're looking at properties here, give me a call. You can always go on my website, which is therealestateconk.com. I'm happy to help you. Of course, it's great to go on Zillow. It's great to go on Realtor.com. It's a good place to start, as I tell people. Now, a lot of agents that I know, they're terrified of Zillow. They're terrified of Realtor.com because they competition, but that's a long story. But the bottom line, I think it's a great resource. I think it's a great place for you to start, but you really need to start there and then give me a call so we can actually fine-tune a little bit more, because no matter what website, whether it's mine or anybody else's, a website's only going to give you so much. It's really important to know the ins and outs, like we said. Here in the Florida Keys, street to street, canal to canal, open water to open water, everything changes on a dime, and it's so important to have someone who knows the lay of the land and the lay of the waters to know what's going to be best for you. And if you're considering selling, know the market. It's really, really important. We've got a great market right now. We're kind of in a par market. It's neither really buyer-centric or seller-centric, except when you're talking in the over $3 million. We have a glut of those. There's way too much inventory. We've had some amazing sales here that have been high-end, but everybody thinks that their home, that was a $2 million home, is now a $5 million home, and that's just not the case. But In the rest of the segment, we've got some really good competition that goes along. And if your property is priced right, it's going to sell pretty quickly. I just did that one. We sold it in 9 days. It was priced to the market. You can have other properties that have been on the market for a year because they're not priced right. Basically, right now, if you have a home that's priced right, you're basically looking at about 60 days to get it under contract from its last price once you've priced it to the market. So those are some factors. No one has a crystal ball, but we'll certainly do our best to shine it up and give you the best perspective of what you need and do all the marketing that you're going to look for. It's really important in this day and age. Here we are streaming. You've got Facebook. You've got Instagram. I think I'm the only Florida Keys real estate agent on TikTok. Yes, TikTok. But let me tell you, right now, TikTok's a joke. It's a bunch of kids. But, Facebook started as a dating app for kids in Harvard. Yeah. Now look at it. So, I've always been one who likes to zig before everybody zags. And, hey, this is the way our new generation is looking at different ways to market their properties and look for properties. And who knows, maybe, TikTok, God knows, I sold a property just from this show. We sold it from a gentleman from Chicago. Sean, if you're listening, always love you. Thanks so much for listening. But, you never know where that buyer is going to be at. And so if you're a seller, always look at unique marketing. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank again my sponsors, Mr. Marshall Walker from H&R Block, Jim LaPointe, Ginny Pinnell, thank you so much for making this show possible, and I look forward to seeing y'all next week here. Oh, no, we're actually going to take a break. Excuse me, we're going to take a break next week. We're not going to be here, but the following week we'll be back. Mykael Marinelli, the Florida Keys Real Estate Conch. You can find me anywhere you look. You just Google my name. Look forward to talking to you next time on the Real Estate Conch and the Florida Keys Real Estate Guy.
Cares upon a shelf, head on off for somewhere else where the weather's always warm.